Broadcasting live from newly revealed full art basic land from Amonkhet. This is Tap Tap Concede. Hey, everybody. Graham here with Kathleen.
Hi.
Rare TTC appearance.
I'm a mythic rare on TTC these days.
True.
Cool.
And the I guess that makes you a masterpiece then. It's Jimmy Wong.
That's the greatest compliment I've received in a while. What's up, everybody?
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Good. And before we get started, a reminder, of course, that Tap Tap Concede is brought to you by CardKingdom.com/LRR. Card Kingdom, what a great place to buy your singles, sealed product. And hey, Modern Masters 2017 is coming up. Those spoilers will be rolling around the corner. You know you want to buy them from the place that's going to ship them to you the fastest, CardKingdom.com. Jimmy also has experience in pitching to Card Kingdom, you see.
Yeah, I love Card Kingdom. They're great.
Yeah, no, there are. As what we say every time is it's legitimately where we buy our singles online.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's like the customer service and shipping is amazing. And if you tell them, Loading Ready Run sent me, button please, you'll get our current, our little 1-inch button, which has new designs all the time. And the current design is 4 minutes and 59 seconds on the clock. It's red. It's in like the...
It's like, get ready.
Yeah, it looks like it's when you're about to time out on Magic Online.
That is a stressful experience.
Yeah, it's really stressful. And of course, this show and all of our shows are brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. So please check those out. Today, we're going to be talking about Commander a little bit, because you might not know about friend Jimmy Wong here, but he's into the Commander. What? You should talk a bit about why you know so much about Card Kingdom.
Yeah, so the reason that I know about Card Kingdom is, one, I'm from Seattle, and it's by far the best LGS in the city. 2 of them, actually. But I also have a Commander podcast called The Command Zone with my good friend Josh Lee Kwai, and we're also sponsored by Card Kingdom and Patreon. So I guess we share a lot in common, actually.
Yeah.
You guys want to just switch shows once?
Internet content creators.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to talk about cards from Aether Revolt that have been making waves in Commander, and also briefly talk a little bit about some, not really spoilers, but some information that came out like just now about the new sets coming forward. But first crack a pack.
Time to dive into this incredible box of crack packs. So Jimmy, I do kind of want you to roll one, because we've received from a package of Gundam Dual Company cards.
I'm in level with you. If we roll one, we will
We're
open
gonna-
that, and then we will open a real pack.
But
That is a critical fail.
There's only like 3 cards in the
Exactly,
pack.
right.
So yeah.
It is
All right.
very flimsy.
Give it a go.
All right, here we go.
Boop, 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 boop,
Goodbye,
boop,
dice.
boop.
14.
14.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
You have a lot of packs.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is Korean M13?
No, it's Origins, because
It's Korean Origins.
Yeah.
that's Flip Liliana there, I
Oh
believe.
yeah, it is. I think we opened this was given to us. This was also from the same person who gave us the Gundam pack. It's from
Hey.
Chase at PAX Prime.
No, Captain Hat at PAX
Oh, I'm sorry,
Australia
I
gave us
was
the...
misreading it.
the
So
Gundam
this
still
is
at PAX.
this is from Chase at PAX Prime.
It's only fitting that we're cracking a pack from PAX.
We did. Didn't we do Chinese Origins last time, or not last time, but
I have no idea.
in a recent episode. So this is fun.
We could have
'cause now we
Flip
get
Chase,
to-
by the way.
Now we get
Just saying.
to figure out if we can recognize the cards. Thornbow Archer.
Is it a 1/2 that whenever it taps, the opponent loses a life? It is an elf. It might be an eye blight.
Give it a sec. Oop, there you go.
Yeah,
Thornbow Archer.
It is Thornbow Archer.
Yeah.
Nice.
who doesn't control an elf.
Loses 1 life.
Right.
This is going to
Whenever-
be our own little
whenever he
edition of
attacks.
Stump the Vargas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's a 1/2 for a single black. Whenever Thornbow Archer attacks, each opponent that does not control an elf loses 1 life, which was totally fine.
Yeah. It's totally mediocre.
Cobble Brute.
Cobble Brute.
That's
5/2.
like a 5/2, and it's just an elemental.
5/2 for 3 in a red.
Wait. What's this?
Oh, it's something. It's a combat trick, right? Yeah, it's an aid. Is it something aid, or it's
I don't know. It's got Khal Drogo on it.
Enshrouding
Mist. Single white mana for an instant.
yeah.
Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to that creature. If it is renown, untap it.
This
we're
card is good.
Renown.
Yeah,
this
this was good.
That is Khal Drogo.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right,
Oh,
but hold on. Wait, let's...
I know this one.
Burden,
Weight of the Underworld.
Weight of the Underworld.
Weight of the
That's
Underworld.
Burden. Come on, Jimmy.
3 and a black for a creature enchantment. Enchanted creature gets -3, -2. This card was not great in this set unless you had the white-black enchantments matter
Right.
draft
I
archetype.
mean, it was still just okay as a removal
Like, I
spell,
feel
but
even then it was like okay.
yeah.
I feel like the white-black enchantments
know this
matter
one. Do you
thing
know
was
this one?
not amazing, though.
It's like a kind of a flyer. I know that.
That's, I don't know.
Orchard Spirit.
Orchard
That's
Spirit.
right.
Yeah, it can only be blocked
It can only
by
be blocked
flyers.
by a creature with flying or reach.
So it's like it's got pseudo flying.
Yeah, so
but
2/2
it's
for 2 and a
not.
green can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's an early Kaladeshian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember.
This guy was really good because it comes in the mix guy, right?
Comes in with a Thopter, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Aspiring
Aeronaut.
1/2 flyer for 3 and a blue. When it enters the battlefield, you get a 1/1 flying Thopter.
Oh, because it's Magic Origins. So this is why we had an aeronaut with Thopters. We didn't know really at the time what kind of plane
We didn't.
Kaladesh
At this point, we
was.
did not know we were going to Kaladesh.
Yeah.
But we knew that this was what Kaladesh was
It's an
like.
artificer too. Oh, Elvish Visionary.
Elvish
Easy.
Visionary.
Easy
1/1
peasy.
for 1 and a green. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card.
That's my pick so far.
Yeah. This is. Oh,
It looks like a card you wouldn't play in a
I
deck.
feel like it's a counter spell.
It's like some kind of mill card, I think.
It is a divination variant. This is Artificer's Epiphany, I think. Yeah.
Jeez.
Wow, Graham.
Draw 2
Graham.
cards if you control no artifacts. Discard a card.
Jeez Louise.
Oh.
Eye Blights, no. It's Nissa, isn't it? It's like one of Nissa's friends sorting someone.
No, that's Nissa sorting a vampire, isn't it? But before
Yeah.
she's a planeswalker.
Yeah.
That's I don't know.
The only text in here I can read is +2/+2. I think this is a fight card. I think
Oh, okay.
your creature gets +2/+2 and then fights something.
That's pretty good. Wild
Wild
Instincts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It fights target creature and opponent controls.
I didn't draft Origins enough, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah. Ooh, this one I recognize, but I don't know what it is. It's got it's a potion in 2 halves,
It's
2 mana artifact.
It's it's Aether or something.
Alchemist Vial. 2 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and for 1 and sacrifice it. Target creature can't attack or block this turn.
Man, that'd be great in Kaladesh or
Yeah.
an Aether Revolt.
Yeah, right. Triggers gives you a little revolt.
Revolt trigger and then can't attack or block seems like it would be an amazing.
Yeah, and it can ramp you too with Inspire.
I don't remember the name of this one, but I'm pretty sure that it's if a creature with power 3 or greater enters the battlefield, you draw a card or something.
And it's an enchantment.
It's Nissa's something.
Something like that. Well, there's definitely Nissa on it.
Elemental Bond.
Wow! Whenever
Okay.
a creature with power 3 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card.
Wait, this card is really good
Yeah.
in Commander.
Yeah. There you go. Have a
Thanks.
Korean version.
Yeah. Sweet. Now I'll never know what it says.
I know this guy. Do you know this one?
That's the Ruined Servitor.
Yeah.
Rune Servitor, yeah. Everyone
And
draws a
when
card when it dies.
Yeah.
Yep. Each player draws a card.
Pretty
Well,
good.
I feel like and we're not doing Stump the Vargas, but we are doing Stump the Stark.
Oh, this is
It's a giant. It has reach. It can.
yeah. It's just Summit Prowler with reach. It's like
Yeah.
Sky Shroud Giant.
Sky something giant. Sky
Sky
Raker.
Raker. Giant.
Oh,
You're
he's
so
raking.
close.
Sky.
I should have known.
Raker.
Look at those rake things he has.
So yeah, 2 red for a 4/3 giant with reach.
Into
And
the
the rare. It's Vryn Wingmare.
Yeah, it's a hate bear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2/1 flyer for 2 and a white. Non-creature spells cost 1 colorless more to cast.
That's pretty good.
And then a mountain and an ad card.
In Korean, which is kind
Korean.
of fun.
Yeah.
So, what's your pick?
Right. So we're drafting Origins here.
Right.
know.
What was
between-
the Origins format like?
Like
Because now I can just think about how good the Alchemist Vial would be. in Aether
Wingmare's not a
Revolt.
terrible pick. The giant isn't bad, and it's like the only good red card in the pack.
There's a lot of green in here.
The Aeronaut is also not a bad pick.
The Visionaries.
The Visionary's
not
okay.
awful, but I think I would take the flyer. 3 mana for 2/1 flyer is just fine.
Yeah.
And then it has an ability.
It's 4, isn't it?
Which no,
Oh,
this
the
one.
Aeronaut,
Oh.
yeah.
The Wingmare.
So it's a-
Yeah, This is actually like not super exciting pack for draft, but yeah, I could see taking the Wingmare or the Inspiring Aeronaut or maybe the Giant, but eh.
I would take the Aeronaut if the Wingmare was
I remember red being pretty good, but white in Origins also had a bunch of enchantment removal at common. The like the can't attack or blocks.
Oh, it had elemental bonds, celestial bonds.
yeah,
What
there's
was
one where it was
Where
like
little-
it was
little Kythian
Kythian.
was
It was
bound to
being
the
held
ground,
back. Yeah.
And then there was like I said, there was like a black-white
enchantment deck.
Enchantment deck. Last pack of this we opened in Chinese. We got the Sigil of the Empty Throne,
Oh, cool.
which
Get
is
an angel.
the one where anytime you play an enchantment, you get an angel.
Pretty good.
So not so bad.
Yeah.
So hey, speaking of Commander, how has Aether Revolt been? I mean, I guess we could talk about Kaladesh as a whole, but how's Aether
Right.
Revolt been for Commander?
Well, I'm going to bring up my card list just so I can have it handy.
He's prepared notes.
It's pretty nuts.
It seems it.
I think the big card
I haven't tuned up a Commander deck in a while, but it seems cool.
Between Kaladesh and Aether Revolt, essentially anything that was an artifact deck just got a huge boost, and
no kidding.
Paradox Engine got created.
Oh, right.
So Paradox Engine is a legendary artifact that costs 5 mana, and whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control. So it's like Jeskai Ascendancy, but on crack. Because it's colorless, anyone can play it.
This goes into so many of those, but like there's already so many like they're not all based around Twiddle, but like the untap tap artifact
totally.
decks, and this is just like they're like, and they power up like Lux Cannon.
Yes, they power up Lux Cannons.
I've played against those decks before. They're kind of unfun to play against, but I desperately want to make my own.
Yeah.
This seems like this just made that deck 100 times better.
It's the one that
because
makes,
it's just another payload, right?
it's the one that makes me hum in Raymond Scott's Powerhouse in my head, right? The dun, 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 dun. People are just like, untap this, tap this, put a charge counter here, tap it to use a charge counter for this.
If you ever wanted to play a commander against somebody and like be able to savor a beer slowly, like definitely play against one of these decks.
Yeah,
it takes them like 3 minutes to resolve a turn.
Yeah, this is one of those cards where it's kill on sight, for sure.
Yeah.
If you have mana dorks, so cards that can tap for mana that aren't lands, it's really
Right.
good as well.
Oh, God.
Because it's all non-land permanents, so your elves will untap, your mana rocks will untap, your Lux Cans will untap as well.
And this will even untap like you've got to like pay more
Money,
mana back
yes,
into them
like mana
rocks.
vaults, and
That's
yeah.
degenerate.
It's incredibly degenerate, and the thing is, if you combine this with card draw, then you should be essentially be able to play out your whole deck. like if you can find a way to draw cards when you're playing cards.
That's
as well.
That's why in my green-white deck, that's why I run Fracturing Gust.
Yo. Yep, that will house.
Someone
people.
got real mad when I cast it. It's 2.
Green white.
Yeah, 2 and then 3 hybrid Selesnya mana for an instant. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments, and you gain 2 life for each permanent destroyed.
That
this way.
card's nuts.
Fracturing Gust is relevant in Commander.
Yeah, there's also Bane of Progress, which will blow up, I believe, all artifacts and enchantments, and they'll get a +1/+1 counter for each thing it blew up. So yeah, but Paradox Engine is like the big highlight out of Aether Revolt. A lot of people are already like, you have to ban it. And I don't think it needs to get banned because
They
with
did ban Prophet of Crufix.
Yes.
Which was fine.
Good.
which was fine.
Did you ever play against BDMs?
Oh, his spider spawning deck? Yeah, it's nuts.
No, I guess that was the same deck. I don't know. He had a deck with Prophet of Crufix, and it was like, it was amazing in a way that
Yeah.
you're sort of like, like impressed at what's happening and also deeply unfun.
Yeah, because it grants you a bunch of different cards, so it gives you sort of a Flash Vidalcan Orrery-esque ability. And the thing is about this card is that you don't actually have to do anything to make it go off. Paradox Engine, you need to do stuff.
Yeah.
And Paradox Engine may fit in every deck because it's colorless, but it doesn't mean you're going to play it in every deck because you need to have. If it's not untapping anything, then what are you doing with it? Prophet of Crufix is like, if you're playing creatures and you want to untap it, great, because it lets you have 3 turns in a 4-player game, 3 extra turns essentially.
Yeah.
By the way, I love the masterpiece version of Paradox Engine.
Yeah.
It says this device was submitted to the fair anonymously. It is imperative we find the maker is found. We must understand it.
Yeah, it is certainly a
it's
paradox.
The confiscation directive.
Well, it's because someone's
It's like, hey, in this house we obey the laws of thermodynamics.
someone submitted a perpetual motion machine to the science fair.
Yeah.
And everyone's like,
And it actually
uh-oh.
worked. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going off. Other cards that are really good from this set for Commander are Rishkar, Pima Renegade, who is a new green legendary creature. And when he enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 creatures, and then each creature with a +1/+1 counter on it can now tap for mana to add green. So this combined with Paradox Engine is nuts, because then every single one of your creatures can start tapping for mana. Let's say you have that Elemental Bond card out, and you're playing creatures with 3 power or more, now you're drawing cards every single time and untapping everything. So
Rishkar seems like kind of low-key quite powerful for Commander.
But I mean, like,
just sort of like, oh, okay, sure, he does a couple things
there's
that are
already
good,
a lot of
cool.
Commander decks that do sort of degenerate +1/+1 counter things, and I feel like you put this guy in as your commander, even though he's not as flashy as like the Unas and stuff that are going around. But this guy will like sort of quietly destroy or destroy is a bad word. Like deform the board state in your favor.
Yeah.
And people aren't gonna go out of their way to kill like a 2/2 bear right away.
Yeah.
Right? They're not. They're like, oh, okay. Makes your guys with +1/+1 counters.
Yeah. Do you think?
Mana, fine.
Do you think Rishkar is better as a commander or as like a?
If you want to build a mono green stompy deck, then great. Otherwise, the thing is like with Rishkar, ideally you're playing him on turn 2 because you have an elf, or even turn 1 if you have like a mana crypt, and you're essentially by the time it gets to like turn 3, you have access to like 6 mana now, and then 7. And like
I don't think any of us have fast mana in our commander decks.
Yeah, but playing a Llanowar elf turn 1, playing Rishkar on turn 2. Means now you have, when it comes to your third turn, you have 3 lands and 2 creatures that can you have 5 mana on turn 3, and if you have more ramp, you just can go off. I don't know if he's great in the 99 unless your deck, like Kathleen said, has a lot of already +1/+1 counter shenanigans, like a Mazarek deck might work with him. He's a black-green general from Commander.
In the 99
2015.
being as not a commander.
Yeah, not the commander.
I don't think he's great if he's not your commander. Just because then it's like, okay, that's fun, but there's no way to guarantee you're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I mean, it could be an explosive turn when you get it because all those creatures will already have been there. But yeah, I think as commander, he's probably one of the better mono green commanders out there. Another great card. The expertises are all very good. Baral's expertise in the last episode of Game Nights, our friend cast it. And with Idris, so he was just getting double cascade triggers on everything essentially, and casting more things to get cascade triggers.
Okay, so to fill in for those listening, Baral's expertise: 3 blue sorcery, return up to 3 target artifacts and/or creatures to their owner's hands, which is
pretty sweet.
Really good in Commander.
Isn't this cheaper than Sea God's Revenge?
I
bounce 3
don't
things.
even know what Sea God's Revenge is.
So it was from Theros.
Theros?
It was back-breaking in draft because I'm pretty sure it was like it was seven mana. Oh, sorry, 6 mana. Bounce 3 creatures.
Right.
And you scry 1. But just being like boop boop boop, especially in Theros when people were going like all in Voltron creatures
and stuff. Yeah.
So you could easily that could be their whole board.
Oh yeah, that was like the end point of the blue deck was to cast Sea God's Revenge and to blow somebody out.
Baral's expertise is 1 mana cheaper. Bounce 3 creatures and/or artifacts.
Yeah, which is pretty huge. Someone spends their whole turn playing a Gilded Lotus, you put it to their hands, like, shoot.
Then you may cast a card with converted mana cost 4 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost.
Yeah, so every one of the expertises has this text on it where you may cast a card with converted mana cost and the number, usually lower. I think it's always lower than the actual casting cost of the original spell.
One down.
Yeah, 1 down. And in this case, Baral's expertise lets you do a CMC 4 card. So our friend was playing Yidris, Maelstrom Wielder. I think it's Yidris. Yeah, Yidris. And this card, when it deals combat damage, allows you to give every one of your spells you cast for the remainder of that turn Cascade, which means when you cast the spell, you flip cards off the top of your deck until you find a card with lower CMC than the original card cast, and you can cast it for free.
So they were hitting with Idris, then...
So they hit with Idris, cast Baral's expertise, bounced a bunch of stuff.
So what... I'm actually super curious how that resolves. Do you get to cast the Baral's?
Right.
Wait, you cast it?
Let's put on the judge gloves. I hope I'm right, by the way.
I think I'm correct in this too.
Okay.
You cast Baral's expertise, cascade trigger from Baral's expertise goes in the stack.
From Idris, yes.
From Idris. So then you cascade looking for something CMC
5 or less.
5 or less.
4 or less, right?
4 or less from the cascade trigger. Then that resolves. Then you bounce the creatures with Baral's, and then you get to cast for free a thing, and then the spell you cast for free, then its cascade trigger goes off. So you're casting
3 spells.
Three spells for the price of 1.
Yeah. Or in this case, when you're bouncing 3 things, you're essentially getting like a 6 for 1.
Jeez.
So it's pretty nutty. I think all the expertises are obviously very good.
Pulling up the judge. What's the first word there? I can't even read it from here. Sarin?
Stern.
Stern.
Okay.
He's a stern judge.
The old white on white text.
This is
not
stern, by the way.
The most readable.
Look
Yeah.
how that's stern. War of Invention is an incredibly good instant speed sort of Convoke-esque card.
We completely muffed that on the Nicknames podcast, by the way.
Why?
What did you guys end up calling that?
So, Alex put the name in the suggestion bin to call it the autoclave, right? Because of Call of the Conclave.
Yeah.
And Call of the autoclave, and it's like machines and the autoclave and everything.
Right.
Except it's not Call of the Conclave. It's Court of Calling.
Right.
So, but I was just so enamored with how clever that nickname was that I didn't realize we were making a nickname to a completely different card.
But the Conclave card does have, I believe, Convoke on it, right? There was like a Conclave.
Court of Calling does.
Right.
This is War of Invention is Court of Calling for artifacts.
Right.
And instead of Convoke, it has Improvise, which is Convoke, but just for artifacts. But the pun was on Call of the Conclave,
Not
Court of Calling.
I can see
Right.
how.
So I
They
was
made this mistake.
So some people in the comments
Right.
were understandably
Here at Loading Ready Run, we will own up to our mistakes a mere 3 podcasts later.
yeah.
However, there are cards, Conclave Phalanx and Conclave's Blessing, both do have Convoke on them.
Yes.
So maybe that's
But-
where the confusion came from.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is, War of Invention. Yeah, this is good. This seems good in Commander.
Yeah, so it's not exactly Convoke because Improvise means that your artifacts are tapping for only the colorless part, or sorry, the generic mana part of the
So it
card.
still costs you blue.
It will still cost you blue. However, the artifacts you're tapping, and getting blue seems like a tough thing to do with your lands because it's 3 of the same color. But because you don't have to tap those lands to tap for the other parts, you're much freer to have probably the mana to be able to tap the 3 blue for this, if that makes sense. Because you're using artifacts to tap for stuff.
Yeah.
Another great card, Inspiring Statuary. So like everything is artifact themed, it seems.
Yeah.
In this set that makes things just busted. Inspiring Statuary is very
Right.
powerful.
I remember looking at this and being like,
You would never draft it, but boy, you would play this in an
So
artifact
yeah,
deck.
this came up during the pre-release actually. That if like it by itself, it's kind of a mana rock
Yes.
because it means that you can tap it to cast any non-artifact spell to pay for the generic mana cost. So it's
Yep.
like, that's kind of interesting. But then if you're in like Commander, then this will let you actually, you've got, as you said, other random artifacts, and then you're tapping them to cast all your spells.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like even non-artifact based commander decks. I mean, I don't think I'd run this in a non-artifact based commander. Well, maybe. I don't
if
know.
you have like 20% artifacts, if you're like have a bunch of
Commander
rocks
decks
and
tend to
stuff.
run tend to run a lot of
well,
artifacts.
I was about to say, like, commander decks tend to run, like, rocks. Even, like, I have some, like, dumb commander decks, but even they have, like, sort of the standard Soul Ring and
Rock
Mana Rock
package,
package.
yeah.
Right?
But even then,
but they tap for mana anyway.
yeah.
That's true.
Sometimes you'll just make artifacts though, like clue decks that make clues, decks
Yeah.
that make 1/1 Thopters. Like
Yeah.
anytime you're making artifacts that aren't, or you have a lot of
Already
artifact
rocks.
creatures. I think this card obviously is a little more like narrow in its focus, but it is great. Like I had a game where in turn 4 I was ready to cast Ugin because I had enough random artifacts
Wow.
and stuff out there.
Wow.
'Cause I
So
had
in
a bunch of
an
1-drops.
artifact heavy deck, this is, like, backbreakingly good.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, so what is because the interesting thing about it is that it only adds the improvise to non-artifact.
Correct.
cards. So so obviously if you have a pure artifact deck, it isn't helping you.
yeah, yeah.
So
true.
what's that ratio, I guess?
I would think it'd be closer to like 20 to 35% of your deck has artifacts. Because again, this by itself is just a thing that taps for 1, and there are plenty of cards that we do play that tap for 1, just that cost 3 mana as an artifact. So the fact that it by itself does that is great, and I don't think you need to be super heavy for it to do a lot of work. If your deck was built to like fully utilize it, you're closer to like the 50% range of artifacts in your deck. But I don't know, I'd have to test it out. All I do know is that in my Brea deck, this card is great. Because when Brea comes out, all of a sudden you gain 3 mana because she's an artifact and she makes 2 Thopters that are also artifacts. So she essentially recovers the cost of herself by 3 mana, and then you immediately, with this out, you can use Brea to tap herself or the 2 Thopters to tap to use her activated ability. So pretty good.
Nice.
The reason I think, here's the thing about Kaladesh and the whole block is that they're like, we're going to make it artifact themed. The masterpiece is artifact themed. And it just makes a huge power spike for artifact-based decks in Commander.
Yeah.
Because Paradox Engine, Inspiring Statuary, War of Invention are all very good for artifact decks, and are almost must-includes, I think, for some decks as well. So good stuff all around, obviously.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking back at Kaladesh, there are some good cards as well. I mean, the big thing is just like you have cards like Aetherworks Marvel that you don't need to have energy generators for this card to work in your deck. You just
It
need
just goes by itself.
it goes by itself. Yeah, it's a Marvel, and it just generates energy when things are put into the graveyard. So like cards like this are incredibly good in Commander as well when you want to cast an Ulamog out of your deck, cast a giant Emrakul, the Promised End.
And eventually you do get to that point of a Commander game where you're like, fine, I'll tap 13 mana.
Yeah, exactly. And like over the course of the game, this is one of those innocuous artifacts that people will see it land and not like be like, we need to remove that immediately, like Paradox Engine, because you might not have the energy at the time.
There's definitely something to be said for a card that like will give you incremental advantage but doesn't immediately paint a target on its back.
Yes.
Because, there's enough like one-shot removal going around to deal with threats that, sometimes it's like, I'm going to play my Paradox Engine and go off. It's like, right?
Yeah, crossover, bye, sorry, no
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
People want to
crossover.
save those too for the big threats, like Blightsteel Colossus, gotta kill that.
Yeah.
Or like got a Path to Exile their giant Eldrazi before it annihilates us, So a card like Aetherworks Marvel, I think, fits, like you said, very nicely into the. I'm not worried about that yet.
Is
and
there
then forget about it.
It resolves.
Yeah.
kind of
And then into the
space.
2 turns later, like we should have gotten rid of that immediately, guys.
Yeah, 2 turns later, somebody's like, how soon can I get a grip?
Yeah.
I was wondering if you like,
People are like negotiating amongst themselves.
because you're talking about like even if you aren't running like a deck that generates a lot of energy, do you think there's a viable Commander deck that is like
Energy based.
the energy deck?
It's tough because I want to say yes, but a lot of the cards that are like cool energy generators are also just not that powerful in Commander. Like there's I think Aether Squall.
Like all the creatures
Ancient.
are kind
all
of
the creatures are kind of meh. Like Aether Squall Ancient is sweet, right? It's a giant Leviathan. It's 5 blue for a 6/6 flyer, and you get 3 energy at the beginning of your upkeep. And then you have to pay. I hate that they don't put a freaking number behind it. You have to pay 8, right, to bounce all other creatures to their owner's hand. That's very powerful, obviously, in Commander. You want to play cards like Cyclonic Rift in Commander anyway, so this is a similar effect. But it's your upkeep, so it takes 4 times as long to get there because it's a multiplayer game. But the card itself is really good in a deck that wants to be pure energy. So it's an interesting balance. I don't know if it's there quite yet. I think you can have energy themes running throughout your deck.
I think if you ran this card in Commander, it would stay around just long enough for you to get 7 energy.
Yeah,
or actually
exactly.
6 energy.
What
Yeah.
colors do you think an energy Commander deck would have to be?
Would it be blue-green?
Blue-green for sure. That's like the main thing. And then
But then
either
maybe
red.
also red?
Yeah, blue-green, red, maybe white. I think all of them have energy generation in some form or another.
Every color does.
Yeah.
But I think it's blue and green definitely. I personally probably wouldn't want to go to 4 colors, so probably blue, green, red.
Yeah. I've wanted to make because I had a Rafik. Teamer, yeah.
Right.
Teamer Energy was an actual
Of
deck
course.
in the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a Rafik of the Many deck because I had one and it was very powerful and sort of very easy to get hated out, but also not as fun to play against people with.
I think that's one of the quickest games of Commander I've ever lost was playing against someone with a Rafik deck.
Yeah, but I wanted to make a Rafik deck that is focused on energy and using energy to make your combat even better. So that was something I was thinking about, playing Rafik with, your Ether Storm rocks and stuff to, like, haha, I'm using energy to make my combat really good.
Well, even little Eddie the Eagle just making something.
Yeah, Eddie Trailhawk. Yeah, absolutely.
Although, actually, wait, no. Because that doesn't work with Exalted.
That's true, actually.
I
Has
said
to
it,
attack alone.
yeah, I said it out loud, and I was like, that sounds great. Wait, Graham, wait.
Well, I mean, at the same time, you're gonna build this deck if you want to build it in the Rafik style to work without Rafik as well. So you're gonna want to have creatures that when they attack, you want them to hit. So Eddie Trailhawk is sort of like a nice, like, hey, I can't hit you for 1 billion, but sometimes Rafik puts you to 18 commander damage, and you only need to hit someone once to kill them. You don't need the double strike or whatever.
Fair.
So it's a good way to sort of be it's a kind of a finisher in a lot of ways. How this thing carries a giant man in a suit of armor is beyond me. But it only takes 1 energy, apparently.
Carefully.
Yeah, very carefully. I think the problem with the energy decks is there aren't many cards. I don't even know if there are any that are just like, here's a card, it says you pay X energy to do a thing. Where it's just like infinite, like you can, I can just use this as an engine. The problem with most energy cards is that they happen either when something attacks, or on your upkeep, or it's very conditional. I think Aetherworks Marvel is the best example of a card that's like, I can make energy and use this immediately.
I guess you'd want to run the whole module package.
Yeah, you definitely would run the
sweet.
modules, animation, decoction, and
Fabrication. Got there.
Yeah, got there.
Yeah, because it's the one is whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you get an energy, and even that one by itself. I remember seeing this in draft. That one with Whirler Virtuoso is just like.
Oh yeah.
Like
an era of innovation. Go to town.
Yeah. Well, because it's like what was it? It was if you had 7 energy.
You could just make infinite Thopters or something.
Then it's like you pay.
We did this in an episode of Friday Nights.
Yeah, you pay 1, you get an energy. Then you make 2, and then you have a third one, and then you make a third one, and then you're anyway. The point is, it wasn't infinite, but it was. I guess if you had the whole set.
If you had the whole package, you could conceivably pull off infinite Thopters in draft.
Wow.
Like getting all the pieces together. I don't know if anybody
The modules are not self-sustainingly infinite. You have to put 1 generic mana into it every cycle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Whirler Virtuoso, one of the best cards in Kaladesh, and also one of the few cards that has something that just says pay energy, get something.
Yeah, because it's when a creature, it's when a +1/+1 counter goes on something, you can pay 1 to make a servo.
The servo.
Then the servo
generates
enters, you get an energy.
Yeah.
You get the energy, you can put a counter on something. You put a counter on something,
you pay 1.
You pay 1, you get a servo, and that cycle continues.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah,
that's
not what I was.
That's the song that I think about whenever I do silly
yakety sax?
rambling things. Yeah, yakety sax.
No, I just think of Powerhouse specifically
Here we go!
Specifically for doing things with artifacts, I think of Powerhouse. It's the music they always used to play in factories in the old Looney Tunes.
Oh.
Dun 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 dun.
This makes a lot more sense.
And Wile E. Coyote gets put into like a can of spinach or something like that.
Yeah. Also, it's called Powerhouse.
So that guy died a lot of times.
Oh, Wile E. Coyote?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's super dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a good set for Commander.
Yeah, overall, I think a lot of really cool things have happened in this set. For instance, all of the 5 monocolored legendary creatures in Aether Revolt, I think, are all great. Because it's like, cool, you want to build a new monocolored legendary deck? Great. And I think Wizards have been doing this for a while, where they'll put legendary creatures in sets, being like, you could maybe build a commander around this. Khans of Tarkir had the same thing, where it's a cycle of...
Like, I feel like Khans of Tarkir especially was like, hello, commander!
Yeah. You guys want fetch lands? Well, you got fetch lands. You guys want Narset, one of the most powerful commanders in Commander? Here you go. So,
did you see that list of, I think Prof from the Tulane Community College linked to it, and it was it was from some website based on deck lists or something.
Oh, a tier list?
And it was like the most popular commanders.
Ooh.
And it was like the top 25 most popular commanders.
I did not see that.
And there was
pre-cons.
Narset and Sidisi and another one from Khan's block. Or no, it was Narset, Sidisi, and one from, I think...
The mono green guy that...
No, I think it was from like
guys?
Ravnica block or something. So they were all gold.
Yes.
And most of them were from the precons.
Yeah, I know Prof has an issue with that, being that like the power level in precons is too high of the commanders.
I guess.
And
if they weren't, people would get real mad.
Yeah, I think the reason that it is, though, is because if you look inside R&D, they don't have the flexibility to generate like perfect cards for Commander inside the normal set, because they have to account for Standard, Modern, and Draft at the same time. Narset is one of those few exceptions, because this card is not good in Draft or Standard
she
or
really
Modern.
wasn't. Really was not good in Draft.
And she costs 6 mana, right? So it seems like a very high cost, and the text is ridiculous as a result. So I think the reason that the majority of people play the Commander pre-con commanders is one, they're made for Commander,
Yeah.
so they're specifically like made for the people that want to play them. And two, it's released every single year as a flagship product of Commander. So I think the majority of new players coming into the game also pick up those cards before buying a random booster pack or going to a store and looking at singles and being like, I want that one.
And I'm just really glad actually that those sets
are really good.
Are good, and that it's not just like, oh, I'm a new player and I hear Commander's really fun. I'm going to go buy a Commander deck and then get my ass kicked by.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of degenerate Commander lists floating around.
Yeah.
That you can still have a bad experience playing against. But like, I like the fact because I play. I haven't done it in a while. Due to life commitments, but we used to do like a Lady Planeswalker night, and like every month we'd do like Commander, and you'd have a lot of new players, especially on the Commander things, and like they all showed up with pre-con decks, and it was just, and I played them a few times, and
didn't the pre-con decks like crush?
Oh, the pre-con, like if you're like, you have some people in our play group that like to build their own Commander decks, but like had like stupid pet decks that they like to play. I also being one of them, I have like a mono black vampire Commander pet deck.
All right,
Oh, sweet.
Anomon, the Ruin Sage.
Yeah, and like a bunch of just like vampires, and it's great. But if it's mono black, you can see that it's perhaps lacking a couple of ways to deal with common Commander issues.
Right, artifacts specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so like. I would often like just get dream crushed by people playing pre-cons because like I wasn't going there to like play my best games and win, right, against like less experienced players, but it's like these decks are very powerful and good, right?
Yeah, especially the newest 4-color ones are really powerful. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. People like to complain about things, obviously. I am very grateful that Wizards has created their yearly product.
Yeah, me too.
Because one, this year they introduced 4-color commanders, which is something a lot of people have been clamoring for a very long time, myself and Josh included. And I just think it's overall like a good thing that Wizards has tried to take control of that part of Commander, because otherwise they already don't control the rules committee, right? They're already sort of off on their own. They don't. This is just a nice way for them to create more cool stuff.
Yeah.
They don't need to constantly be thinking like, oh, we have to put something in the standard set or this supplementary product for people to play. This is just a nice way to actually have custom designed cards for Commander that can help solve previous issues. For instance, creating cards like Chaos Warp for red. I know Mark Rosewater doesn't like the color pie part of that card, but it's still a great way. Like a mono red deck now has the opportunity to deal with cards that it could never deal with before.
Yeah.
And it's just a nice way for Wizards to sort of help the community and help the casual aspect of the game work better by creating cards that make sure that everyone can play the game on a more even playing field.
I like that man turns into a rhino.
Yeah.
Voop.
I've seen that man turn into a lot of things in my games of Commander. I wish it was a rhino sometimes. Sometimes it's a lot scarier.
Cool. So yeah, Commander is great.
Commander is great.
It's fun. You should play Commander. If
Yeah.
you don't, just pick up a pre-con deck.
Yeah, go to freaking Walmart for all I care. Actually, go to cardkingdom.com/LRR and pick up a Commander Precon.
There you go.
It's actually 100% like you can play it out of the box. We released a video called Out of the Box where we just played the precons straight out of the box.
We did a stream of that as well.
Yeah, I
the
remember
4-color
watching
ones
it.
came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
There were some nutty things. I think
Oh my
Cam
God.
went off in one of them too, right?
Yeah. Cam,
Yeah.
I think. What did he do?
Oh, is this the one where Ian like massively failed to identify the board state?
You're gonna have to narrow it down.
I'm sorry, Ian. I love you.
I think didn't Cam kill a man with divination,
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
or was that the conspiracy draft? I can't remember.
No, I just recall that.
I think he milled everybody out.
Maybe in
Yeah.
the conspiracy draft too. I do remember. In fact, I feel like every time I tune into one of these games, Cam is doing something ridiculous.
Well, so when
like, how is this a consistent
we
thing?
scripted an episode of Friday Nights where opens with a conspiracy game where Cam kills everyone with
The drain guy.
with we call him Party Bob. It's the
Yeah.
What the hell's it
Everyone
called?
flips a card,
it's
right?
It's from Return to Ravnica block, and it's the
see if
mythic
I can
that
find it.
everyone does the Dark Confidant thing where they reveal the top card of their library and take that damage.
Yeah.
And then we later the week it came out, we did a conspiracy draft, and Cam opened that guy.
I was like, well.
Okay, I guess I have to take this. And he won the draft the way that we scripted it. after that video aired.
Duskmantle Seer?
That's the
yes,
one, yeah.
Duskmantle Seer.
I was like, what's going on in life?
I remember watching that video where he won with it and then going back like, oh, Friday nights. And I was watching it and I was like, wait a minute, what are the release dates?
Yeah, right? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Party Bob wants to party.
That is Party Bob. I do love cards like this because it definitely increases the fun multiplayer aspect of a game.
Yeah, cards like this do tempt me to make my stupid mono black vampire deck a blue black.
Add a little
deck.
color in there. Yeah.
Add a little color just for bounce.
Don't you know black is the combination of all the colors?
I know.
Or isn't that
But I already
white?
have a blue black deck, so I don't know.
What is the combination of all colors of light?
Right.
This guy is in my Una deck.
Anyway.
Not because he's particularly synergistic, I just like him.
He is awesome.
Speaking of potential new commanders,
Yes.
Oh, yes.
there's
Very exciting.
some new stuff this morning. No actual cards, but some new information came out today in an article on the Magic Mothership with some product shots from Modern Masters 2017, which is cool. And sudden spoiling. And also Amonkhet. So they've revealed the what the product packaging and everything is going to look like for Amonkhet, which is cool. And then they showed some key. The Planeswalker decks for Amonkhet are going to be Gideon and
Liliana.
Yeah. And they showed off some key art for Gideon, Liliana, and Nissa, which is cool and everything. But they also showed off key art for, I guess unconfirmed, but 5 gods.
From Egyptian.
From
lore.
quasi-Egyptian lore, because ever since Amonkhet was announced, they've talked about the trial of the 5 gods, or the trial of the gods, I think.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Ooh, new gods!" Because if you remember back in Theros block,
Yes.
there was all the gods, and they're generally well liked for Commander as well, right?
100%. One, they're not technically creatures when you
Yeah.
cast them, so they stick around forever. Also, because they're indestructible.
Can they be your Commander?
Yes, 100%.
Okay,
Because
that's
they're a
what I
legendary
thought.
enchantment creature. They count as a creature until they're on the battlefield, in which case they check for the
For the devotion,
the
right?
devotion. Yeah, I love those cards. Perforos is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because he's also based off, I believe, one of my favorite Greek gods, Hephaestus,
Yep.
god of the smith of the god of the forge.
Yeah.
Perforos
He's
is
the
god
brother
of the forge.
brother of the god of war.
Yeah. So this is 100% it feels like the one-to-one analog from Theros block to Amonkhet, where it's like loosely based off of Theros is loosely based off of Greek and Roman gods, and these are loosely based off of Egyptian gods. So I actually have someone made a table on Reddit. And they have sort of theorized what each of the gods are going to be like.
Right, because there's all we know about them visually. Like you can maybe make some guesses about
Like the cat god is wearing an awful lot of white.
Yeah, like you can maybe make some color associations.
Probably
the
not.
green god.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can maybe make some associations based on the art, although there's a lot of gold.
Yeah.
And also traditionally where those animals tend to be in Magic. But there's a cat, a crocodile,
A cobra,
a jackal, obviously, and a bird.
an ibis is what
Yes,
it is.
an ibis specifically.
So the theories, the white was
I
the
don't know if you're able to. I guess they're not the right aspect ratio to fit in the image displayer, Paul. They're
See if we can bring it up.
They're gonna look all weird.
But
But
the
anyway.
cat/lioness god, people don't know if it's a cat or a lioness. Hey, it's us.
Oh, hey.
Da-da.
Oh, cool. So the cat would be the one in the middle. And people
Probably
are saying
Set.
the Egyptian is Sekhmet.
Oh, these aren't the gods either.
No.
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 these are the package.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
find on the wizard site at the bottom of the article, there's 5 big, like widescreen images of
Yeah.
of what is presumed to be the
You,
gods.
you could just cover up our faces and put these up.
Yeah,
just put them
we
on full
don't
screen.
need
Why not?
this.
Yeah.
So sorry, cat. Go
Yeah,
for
the
it.
cat lioness is either Sekhmet, the god of war/healing, or Bastet, which is cats and protection, which sounds like white.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah.
There she is, or he. Look at that
Bastet's
thing.
probably better known.
Oh man, she's
Nice.
so cute.
I think that definitely seems like a lady god
Yeah.
to
That's
me.
It's really cool looking.
Yeah, and I love how big they are too, right? Like that
Yeah,
thing
like
just
you
has
can-
to be massive.
Well, you can see like the pillars, the obelisks
Also,
or whatever in the background.
everyone loves scale birds.
Oh yeah, scale birds.
Scale birds.
I'm here. I am looking at the architecture for scale.
There's the blue god is Ibis, so it's the bird one.
Almost definitely blue. Yeah.
Yeah, which people think is Thoth, which is knowledge, wisdom, and the moon, writing, secrets. Sounds like blue to me.
My experience with Megaten games, Thoth, very good persona.
Thoth, yeah.
Well, because
Ah, yes.
Oh yeah, that's so.
yeah,
Birds
'cause-
for scale again.
again-
That or he's in like his Lego house.
and again, in Magic, obviously cats are in all colors, but cats show up a lot in white. Birds like this, like cranes and things, because an ibis is similar to crane. They show up a lot in blue.
Right. 100%. Then there's Jackal.
Which is
Which is
probably
the
our
black.
red god.
No,
black.
black. Because this is Anubis, right? The transition
Oh, of
from
course.
life to the afterlife. By the way, I'm not making any of this up. I'm just reading it. That's the crocodile, right?
Right.
This is the red god. We can talk about the crocodile god.
Yeah, let's talk about the crocodile.
People are saying Sobek, the power, fertility, and military prowess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fertility is
there's
very interesting
There's
for
a
red.
whole sort of red cast from the setting sun, which you can see. The setting sun just visible behind the horns of Bolus back there.
Yeah, the horns of Bolus appear in almost every single one of the lands, which we'll talk about in a bit.
This guy looks so rad.
And then the remaining two are the black and green gods.
Again, these are all suppositions. They could be multicolored, but probably not.
Yeah, I mean, red crocodiles, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so here's black, the jackal, which is the animal, and people are saying this is Anubis, which I think is the most commonly known Egyptian god.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or sorry, parallels to Anubis. Also
Yeah.
a female, which is
Yeah,
cool.
because Anubis,
Look
a
at that
male
spear.
god.
Yeah, got that Bident again.
Yeah.
They're really big on the Bidents.
I
Well,
hope
I mean, it mirrors the horns of Bolus, too.
I hope
Right.
Kiora collects them all.
Yeah.
She comes back.
She just has a thing for Bidens.
Kiara and
Yeah,
her
that,
collection.
like Kiora was the first time I'd even heard the word Bident, and then I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I guess that's what that would be called.
I
just
just
think-
I just like the idea that she's going around collecting God's Bidens, and the Gatewatch is
Do you
like,
know her
Kiora, what are you doing? She's like, I just like Bidens, okay?
You know who her favorite politician is?
I have an
Oh.
idea.
Maybe I don't need to finish that sentence then.
Diamond
Joe
Joe.
Diamond
Bidens.
Joe. I would love to see a fan art of her and surrounded by like staffs of Biden. I don't know what that means. Like little Biden faces on it. And the final one is the green one, the Cobra.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely green.
Definitely a Cobra. And Wadjet, or maybe Apophis. So
Speaking of Commander, James is going to be all over that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
James has a snake deck. So.
oh, a Snick.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's interesting because crocodiles often show up in sort of green and black, but
Yeah.
it's kind of neat that we're not just sticking to our established color pie things, even though
I'm-
Cobra green.
I'm positive that I'm reading too much into this, but this god's staff looks kind of like the Avacyn symbol.
It
Yeah.
does. It really does.
Technically also a Bident, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, I was kicking around. I was thinking the blue one, the thing with in Innistrad. There's all like Avacyn's got all the thing with like herons, which
Oh yeah.
look kind of similar with sort of the long bill
To
and
the
everything.
ibis, yeah.
Yeah, I really like the way they made these with the humanoid bodies and then very golden metallic like heads. I'm interested to know if that is their actual head
Or if
it's
they're wearing masks.
They're wearing a mask. Which
mean-
is
They
definitely
certainly
an
look
Egyptian
like some of
thing,
them are
right?
wearing masks.
Yeah. But the Egyptian gods, that was their heads. They were
Right.
they were human bodies with the heads of animals.
Yeah,
that
and
were
like the priests
actual
would go
heads.
around
Just a
wearing the
bunch of
masks.
animals.
Yeah.
Another cool thing that they announced is that they're going to be the return of Full Art Lands.
Full art lands! Full art lands!
Give me more!
I mean, I love full art lands, so I'm like super pumped.
I mean, so does everybody. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Has anybody ever said I don't like full art lands and then not immediately been slapped?
So, finally, we announced Full Art Basic Lands as part of some in-store promotions last week, but that's not the only place you'll find them. You can also get them in Amonkhet booster packs. Full Art Basic Lands will appear in approximately 1 out of every 4 boosters. And
Oh,
will be
man.
available in other products as well. They all have the horns of Bolas, by the way, so
Yeah.
throw them up.
Which means that those horns are just all over the place on this plane.
We
Yeah.
need some sort of Bolus gang sign.
It really looks like the same.
Yeah.
It looks like the same horns.
So it's like a circular city, and everyone's revolved around the horns, kind of?
But they're always facing the camera.
Yeah, I feel like Nicol Bolas is the kind of dragon who would have multiple Bolus horns erected to honor himself.
Yeah. Did he make this plane? I guess we don't know that yet.
Some people are saying this plane also has multiple suns, so maybe that's why there are a lot of suns in these pictures.
Cool.
I mean,
We,
this
uh,
one definitely has multiple suns.
Oh, you're
yeah.
right.
We
So
on
2 suns right
Tatooine
there.
now, boys.
That's really cool. That's something that they don't do often in Magic, but I kind of like that as a detail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Very cool though. And the art is from some of my favorites. Young Hao Han made a lot of the expeditions.
Mirrodin had the multi-sun, the zeniths and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Titus Lunter did a couple of them. Richard Wright, Florian de Gezencourt, and Clint Kearley.
And all the gods were done by, I believe, Chase. Scroll down, actually. Chase Stone, I think it was. All the gods were done by the same artist.
Chase Stone.
Well, Chase, you knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
They look great.
What a cool assignment that must have been.
And there's an incredible new art of Liliana too by
Yes.
Chris
I know the
Rallis.
new art of
It's
Liliana is
so
sick.
good. It's sick. Throw 'em up.
Seriously, that's the first thing I was like looking through this page and I was like, man, Liliana looks great.
Yeah, she does look great.
She's been invigorated by this Gatewatch thing.
Yeah,
She
she's
hasn't
very
looked this
like.
young in like 60 years.
I think she's entertained by it. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I get the idea that here's my prediction for long-term Liliana story arc is that like first she
Oh,
joined the,
so good.
I know. Look at that expression though. It's
And this
kind
is
of
her.
like-
This is like her jam, right? Like someone's fanning her. She's on pillows. She's like, I
She's
can
eating
enjoy
grapes.
this. Yeah.
Right? Like, but I feel like the Liliana story arc is eventually going to go that, she joins the Gatewatch to manipulate people and to have, like, some powerful people in her back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, after all of these adventures, she's like, oh, I like you dumb guys.
That's very anime, and I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been watching a lot of anime recently.
I remember when we went to the Innistrad launch party.
Right.
I was highly amused because they had a woman there dressed up as Liliana, and the problem though was she was trying to emulate the card art, and the Liliana that was in Innistrad she's sort of sitting in a throne, kind of looking bored.
Yeah.
And so, but it's a weird situation to have like a party going on, and this woman who's is basically been hired to sit there and look bored.
Yeah. That's the thing. Liliana no longer looks bored at
Yeah.
her cards. She looks
Yeah.
kind of happy.
Yeah, finally.
She's
she
like, well,
looks.
it's something to do.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
has plans. Every card should just say Liliana and the ulterior motive.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's,
Very exciting.
That's what was news today.
Well, I guess you want to mention Modern Masters really briefly.
Oh,
yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah. They showed off the packaging for Modern Masters. The art we don't need to show it, but there's new art on the retail box,
Which-
like this thing.
Looks a lot like Snapcaster Mage.
Looks a lot like a presumed new art of Snapcaster Mage.
It's a guy going like this. He's surrounded by blue and holding a glowing orb of something.
Some sort of electrical.
He's literally all blue around him.
Yeah.
So that's not Snapcaster because they're going back to reprint Innistrad. That's
Yeah.
as far as they're getting. Also, you have a spoiler or a preview card coming up.
Yes, we do. We have a preview card coming up for Modern Masters 2017, which will be out on
First.
the end of the month. Well, our date's the 1st, so we usually put it up the night before, so like the night of the 28th.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Pretty quick.
Short month.
It's in like a week.
Do you
Yeah.
have a spoiler card?
Yeah, on the 28th, actually.
Hey!
Yeah.
All right.
And the cards that we know are spoiled now are Domri Raid, which is a 1 red
'Cause they're on the packaging.
Planeswalker. Yeah,
Yeah.
Grizzlebrand.
They don't typically put pictures on the packaging if you can't also open the card.
Yeah.
So it's like a safe bet.
and
Domri-
Stoic Angel.
Stoic Angel.
Yeah, so from what it looks like there are a lot of colors running around this set. Usually they wouldn't put a 3-color card at rare if there wasn't going to... And Domri Raid's a 2-color card as well. But,
There wasn't support for it.
right, so it seems like...
And then put that card on key art.
Yeah, because they had that one exalted one that gains life in Modern Masters 2, right? What was that one? When they were attacked alone, it gained life.
Oh.
I didn't draft a lot about
It was really, really good in
can't remember.
draft. So that Stoic Angel seems like that kind of card in this set. So
Right.
if it 3 colors, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope to play all the colors.
By the way, for the other Planeswalkers and Amonkhet, I do like that they're continuing the trend with Gideon looking vaguely constipated, or sort of concerned.
What did we call him in our nickname podcast this time? Like beef slag hunk chunk or
I don't know. Chad
Chunk.
something.
He's always just kind of like, I'm looking tough, but there's a vague look of concern in his
still-
eyes.
I always
I still-
think it's like Gideon confused.
I still can't tell if Gideon is like a super weathered, grizzled, like 32-year-old, or like
You're a fresh-looking 48.
like a very athletic 60, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't tell if he's just like, like Jackie Chan, who's like super old but can still do like flips and stuff,
Right.
or if he's just been beaten so much that he's just
I
looked.
in my head canon, he's just been through some shit.
His facial hair looks like he sculpted it to mimic his if I don't hold this face constantly, then my facial hair doesn't work.
Oh man! So that'll do it, I think, for this week. Thank you all for joining us. Jimmy, thank you for sitting in.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
If you're into Commander-focused Magic podcasts and other Magic content, check out The Command Zone
Yes.
with Jimmy Wong and Josh Lee Kwai.
You can find us on YouTube.
Yes.
At youtube.com/The Command Zone Podcast. We do gameplay series now as well.
Yeah.
It's our sort of new big venture into the world of Magic content.
It's it's youtube.com/The
Command Zone Podcast. Yeah.
Check that out. And of course, like we said before, check out cardkingdom.com/LRR, as the show is brought to you by it. The kind folks at Card Kingdom also support the Command Zone and Tulare Community College and Magic the Amateuring, because
really, and we've had people ask us this before, like, oh, whose affiliate link should we use? And honestly, just if you want to change it up every time, go for it. If you use the same one, totally fine. Yeah. We're all sponsored by the same people.
We had a lot of people be like, no, but now they're sponsoring all the people that I like. What am I supposed to do?
I'm so confused.
We're totally chill about it. It's fine. Just switch it up. Do whatever.
If you want to leave a note being like, I also am here because
That's
of
useful,
the professor
actually. Yeah,
and
do that.
Tulare College, then great. Yeah, just let them know. And you help one of us out, you help all of us out.
Yeah.
It's a group effort.
All ships. And of course, the Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Please also check that out as well. And that will do it for this week. So thanks for listening, everybody, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.